Hi, Pibbits here. Welcome to my channel. I'm doing something I've never done before. I did my first ever race at Nürburgring. It was the Nürburgring combined, so it's got a bit of the Grand Prix track and the Nordschleife. I did this race yesterday morning at the start of the weekend. I finish at lunchtime on a Friday, so I got on and did this. Hence the thumbnail, Eat the Frog. Do something right at the start that maybe you're not looking forward to. And I've not been looking forward to this race. I've been worried about it. I've never done Nordschleife before. I just wasn't ready for it. It was a bit like the Bend for me. A long track. I take a long time to learn tracks, so I knew this was going to be difficult. Anyway, I thought I'd do it. So I did it. Did the race. Did my commentary. Did all the incidents at the end. Went to pause the recording and realised I hadn't recorded. So I was a bit annoyed. So did I want to do the race again? No. Did I want to show you my first ever drive on the Nordschleife? Yes. So we've got a replay, and I'm going to try and commentate on the replay. We probably won't see the whole race because there were bits of it when I was marooned, but it's something a bit different. If you like it, you do. If you don't, sorry, it'll be back to normal videos after this one. But anyway, enjoy. Here we are at the start. So here we are on the grid then. No one qualifies, you just get a warm-up. So I'm guessing I was just there because that's what my ranking is. But anyway, we start off on the Grand Prix track, which I know quite well. I know it from ACC. I don't think I've ever done it in iRacing, but I know where the corners are, which is good. So I was able to sort of be fairly confident and committed, although we do cut out a bit of the track. Anyway, my plan was to follow. Just like the Bend, follow people, watch where they're braking, and see if I could just keep up. That was the plan. So that's what I'm doing. I was aiming to maybe get someone who I thought was about the same speed as me and then just follow. So you may see I'm sort of letting a couple of people by. It's a half-hour race. There's no fast repair. My first ever time on this track. I didn't want to get taken out, so I'm not being too aggressive and I haven't got my elbows out. But yeah, this first pit, I'm just driving normally. I'm getting overtaken by a few people, which I'm not too bothered about. All I wanted to do was follow and finish the race. It's 4 laps, no refueling, so I had a pretty clear plan in my head. So as you can see, everyone's pretty confident through this bit. You know, I imagine on this track, at the start of the lap, most people know it because they've done lots of starts of laps and probably haven't finished a lot of them. So at the start, it was fairly straightforward. Everyone knows where they're going. Even when you get on the Nordschleife, I think the first few kilometres everyone knows, although I didn't because this was my first ever time. But I imagine further on in the lap, it becomes less known to people because I don't know how many people actually finish the laps. It's very easy to go off, I think, the Nordschleife. I think the MX-5 is a good car to do it on, though, because it's not too fast. I think a GT3 would just be too fast. At least with the MX-5, I think you can be flat out. Obviously, I've seen the Nordschleife. I've seen other people drive it. I've seen it in real life. So I've got a bit of an understanding. You know, I know some of the key corners, but not where they are on the track. But anyway, this is it. We're on the track. I'm just sticking with these 2 cars ahead. I've got someone else who's sort of harassing me, and I'm thinking, okay, well, let them go as well. I don't want to be battling. I just want to be following. So I'm sort of easing a little bit. You can't really tell, but I just ease a little bit to let them by. And then I just wanted to settle in. And then we got that guy behind who you may recognise from the thumbnail. So I'm just watching when they're braking. And I'm, you know, you don't know how hard someone's braking, but you can sort of tell. And then it's when they're not braking. Are they flat out? Are they feathering the throttle? Difficult to tell. So it's not a perfect system, but it's certainly better, I think, than just going around on my own, not knowing where I'm going, whether the next corner's left or right. I mean, it's just like driving on the road, you know, you can sort of read the road, you can see what's coming, you know when to brake, you know the car's capabilities. But on this track, obviously, we're trying to go as fast as we possibly can. It's not like a drive in the country. So I'm really struggling, but I'm already dropping back. You can see clearly there's bits where I'm not quite confident enough. They've gone flat out. I may have feathered and they've got away. So I'm now thinking, well, let's let this guy by because he seems to know where he's going. I'm assuming that everyone else around me knows the track. That might not be the case, but I've let him go now. And again, the plan is just follow, you know, watch the braking points, see where he's braking and then just try and follow. So he's doing a bit more trail braking than I am, which is quite interesting. Watching this back, obviously I've not watched a replay back like this before. It's quite interesting just to see. And you know, it's a long, fast track, particularly in the MX-5. You can be flat out in a lot of places. So there's just a lot, and it's a lot of downhill. I'd never realised about the elevation change watching it on TV. There seems to be a lot of downhill, and then later on in the lap, you start going back uphill. But anyway, I'm quite comfortable here. Now, this is a corner where there's a particular line, and I haven't got it. Nor did that guy, obviously. I think it's the one you see on a lot of YouTube videos where people come in and then go off. I think it's a particularly difficult corner. And certainly I found it that. So you can see I'm just about in the slipstream, but I'm starting to lose it. You know, he's just starting to get away, and that's all it takes. So I'm now starting to think, okay, where's my next toe come from? So we've got this guy behind who went off. He's got a little bit of damage, so I think he's hit the fence, so he's probably a little bit slow in a straight line, but he looks like he knows the track, and I could see him coming up behind me. So he was my next target to follow. And again, and I'm not trying to go slow, I'm trying to go as quick as I can. But once you drop out the slipstream, if you don't know the track, I found it really hard to keep up. I mean, some of the corners you can sort of see. But yeah, he's definitely on me. You can see where he's a lot quicker through that corner. So again, I'm going to let him by. I'm not going to battle him. Although he was a bit slow around there. I think actually I may have been thinking he's got a bit of damage, he's not that quick, but he's definitely with me. So I want to let him by, and then I can follow again. And you can see how quick he's there. Look, I don't know the corner. We've got a long old straight coming up, so we're just losing time all the time. So we'll let him by, and I've got someone else to follow. And this following, it's really helping. See, I brake there and he didn't. Because it looked to me like he needed to brake there, but clearly not. But we've got someone to follow again, and it does make such a difference. So that was my strategy. Now, you know, it's 4 laps. I will fast forward to bits that you may find interesting. It's certainly commentating after the race is not as easy for me as commentating during the race. I think I much prefer doing it in the moment. But just to give you a sense, so I can keep up with this guy for a little while, but eventually he's going to get away, and then I'll be looking for the next guy to follow. So we'll see how that goes. So you can see he's just starting to get away a little bit now. There was a few uphill corners where I wasn't quite sure flat out, but we're just coming up to the carousel. So my first ever time on the carousel, I just sort of followed him around. I think you have to keep on the inside there and then don't go too fast on the exit because you can quite easily go off. But yeah, I was quite pleased with that. But look at the difference. He's really got away now. So yeah, I'm falling back into the clutches of whoever's coming up next. So this is lap 2, just at the start of the lap, and I'm sort of starting to recognise some of the corners, but someone had caught me up. So again, let's let him by, see if I can follow. And then there's another one behind us, so I'm thinking they'll probably catch as well. So again, I'm back to my following. I'm starting to recognise little bits of the track, but I think it's going to take me hundreds and hundreds of laps really, because it is so long. But just following this guy, but he's already starting to get away. You can just see it's very hard. You know, one little feather of the throttle, and you know, followed by a long straight, and then they just get away. So I'm hoping to sort of close up down this hill, because I know I sort of recognise this a little bit, that it's flat out. And here, you know, flat out, no braking. I'm starting to get a little bit more confident, but my lap times are probably, I think I was 20 seconds a lap slower than the fastest guy, which yeah, it's a sort of a 10-minute 10 lap, I think, or 9-minute 10 or something. It was yeah, a bit slow. So again, just following, just trying to keep up, and we'll see how that goes. So I actually managed to follow him for nearly the whole lap. He started to get away just at the carousel again, so clearly I'm doing that wrong. We're back onto the normal Grand Prix circuit, so I know this bit of the track, so I'm fairly confident. But he just got away, dropped out of the 1 second window, and that was it. Then I couldn't, I wasn't getting the slipstream, I wasn't seeing all of his braking, so he's just sort of stretched away. So I'm back on my own. You can just see him in the distance there going around the hairpin. So let's see what happens next. So here we are on lap 3, which I've done all on my own so far. We're just coming to the carousel again, and when we've caught somebody. They've had, you can see they've had a bit of a problem. They've lost their whole front end. They were in a 3-car train, and they were trying to bump draft, and the car in the middle got, I think, spun round and smashed into the wall. So yeah, so we got past them, and there was no way they were going to keep up with that amount of damage, I don't think. So yeah, we were back on our own again. And so we're on the final lap, and you can see there's a car there on the right that's just gone off. So we've got no one to follow, but I'm guessing they're going to follow us and catch. So it didn't take them very long. They clearly know the track a lot better than I do. You can see they're already coming. So I'm just thinking, okay, I'm just got to keep on pushing and hope I can stay ahead. But I know, being 20 seconds a lap slower than some of the quick guys, that's going to be pretty difficult. And I've got no one to follow. So, I mean, this is the 4th lap. So I'm starting to recognise some of the bits of the track. I'm starting to take a few more risks. But yeah, I don't know the track well enough to be able to keep ahead. I mean, obviously this guy was quick. I don't know what's happened to him. I'm trying hard, as you can see, and I nearly go off there. And that was it, pretty much. So I'm thinking, okay, he's going to come by. It was a bit difficult, actually. I didn't know which side he was going to go. We'll just have a look at that. So yeah, I'm coming around. I've sort of overcommitted to this corner, got on the curb, just gone off. So I'm trying to get back on. Obviously, he's coming. I could see him. I didn't know which side he was going to go. So I tried to move, and it almost all went wrong. And then he goes by. But I've got someone to follow again. So this is the last lap. I thought we'll make the most of it. Can I keep up? He's obviously quick. He's been off, but he's obviously quick. Doesn't look like he's got any damage. So if I can just keep with him for this last lap, I'd be quite pleased. Take a few seconds off my best, maybe, because it's early on in the lap as well. And I was starting to get to know where some of the corners were going as well, so I could be a bit more committed. I think it was the uphill section. There was quite a bit of that was just flat, and a couple where you needed to brake, and it was difficult to distinguish between the two. But if I braked in the wrong place, I just lost so much time. So it was sort of after the carousel. Anything after that, I was struggling a little bit with. But yeah, I managed to stay with him for some time. So we'll just see what happened at the end. So I kept with him more or less through most of the lap, but the carousel and the mini carousel, he just had a quicker line, and he just stretched out just over a second. And we're now on the really, really long straight. But I did start to close him. So even being more than a second away, I was just starting to get a bit of a slipstream. But this is the 4th lap. We've only got, I mean, it looks like we're going so slow. We were doing over 100 miles an hour here, but it looks really, really slow. I was catching ever so slightly, but it wasn't enough. I could imagine, if you're in a slipstreaming race and you're keeping up with people, that last straight must be chaos, to get the win. Because I guess you don't really want to be in the lead on that last straight, because someone's just going to draft straight by you. So we're just coming up then. I mean, you can see it's just flat out. We're now going uphill. I am getting a little bit closer, but we're then into the twisty section that takes you back onto the Grand Prix circuit. And I sort of was learning this bit. I could sort of see where I needed to go. We're then just coming straight onto the Grand Prix circuit here. And, there's the finish line. So didn't quite do it, but I managed 4 laps with no crash, a couple of off tracks, but no crash. First time. I was pretty pleased with myself, I have to say. And, I was looking forward to going through the instance, doing the results, and then I realised I hadn't recorded it. Anyway, so here's the results then. So that was second split out of 4. Managed 4 laps. I got some safety rating, lost a bit of I rating, so not too bad. So you can see the best lap, 10:12, 10:11. So 10 minutes, 10 minutes 11. I think, in the GT3, I think they're doing, I don't know, 8s or something. But anyway, the Mazda's a good car around there because it's not too quick. And where am I? I'm all the way down here. So I managed 11th, almost a top 10. My best lap, is that my best lap? Average. I haven't got a best lap because I must have gone off at some point every lap then. But my average was 10:32. I think when I was going round, I could see, I think I was doing like 10:20s when I was following people, and 30 or so when I wasn't. So, you know, made a huge difference, an average of 10:32. But yeah, that must mean I didn't, does this give me my lap times? Oh yeah, here we go. So off track. So 10:41 was the first lap of 26, 37, 23. So following made a hell of a difference. Anyway, let's see what that's done for the championship. Okay, so we're 114th in the championship after 7 weeks. We'll just look at where we were here. How many points did we get? So we got 50 points. This is probably going to be one of our dropped weeks, I'd imagine, because we didn't do very well. And where are we in our division? So we're in Division 5. So Division 5, where are we? Okay, so we're in the top something. Is that me? Top 10. Top 10. It's early in the week. It's Saturday, so there's still a few days left, I guess, for people to get more points. I don't think I'm going to do that race again, although I did enjoy the Nordschleife. I was surprised. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think I will do some more, and I guess every time I do it, it's going to get better. I wonder what a Formula V would be like around there. That'd be quite fun. But anyway, I think, yeah, so I might do it again and just see how we get on. But there we go. Anyway, if you want to see more stuff with the normal commentary, then please do stick around, hit that like, hit subscribe, tell your friends, and maybe I'll see you next time at the track.